Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Wanted to start off the video a little bit differently today. I want to show off my baby bumps. I am officially 36 weeks. Super excited. I can't believe I'm 36 weeks already. And I'm just wondering when I'm going to be able to meet this little girl and hold her in my arms. So just always want to remember this bump. Guys, I'm making this video a little later in the day than usual. So I'm sitting on my foam roller and trying to get the rest of the natural light left in the day. I had a special request from someone asking me to talk about what the shame and the aftermath is after a manic episode. So I'll get into that in a minute, but first I just kind of want to do a little pregnancy update. So like I said, I'm 36 weeks officially tomorrow. Yesterday, November 9th, was 1 month exactly until her due date. She's due December 9th. So right now it's just like wondering, is she gonna come early? Is she gonna come on time? Is she gonna come late? Like, you just don't know. I had my 35-week appointment last week and I'm not dilated or anything. Measuring exactly where I should be, so everything's going smoothly so far. I have had some back pain. I do have my moments, honestly, where I have, I would say mini episodes where my mood completely shifts from one end of the spectrum to the other. And those can be kind of scary, but I always talk to my psych nurse and tell her everything that's going on, and I take my medication, and I do everything I can do to stay healthy. So something I'm really trying to work on right now is getting my mind right and ready for labor and delivery. I know that there's no way to predict how it's gonna go. You never know if you're gonna have a C-section or, there's so many different things that can happen, and everyone's story is so unique. And so I'm choosing not to future trip. I'm struggling at night with my mind racing, wondering how things are gonna go down. And when I feel that racing in my brain, I just wanna go on social media or Google stuff, or I don't know, just basically be on the internet and on my phone. And I'm finding that it's like a vicious cycle of me being on my phone, and then I can't sleep, and then I can't sleep, so I want to be on my phone. So I just recently set some new goals to be off my phone by 8 o'clock at night, meaning social media. Like, I can check my text messages or whatever, but for me, there's a difference between that and being on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And so my goal is to be off my phone by 8 o'clock at night, and also to do a full skincare routine. A lot of nights in the past, I just don't follow through and do my skincare routine. And that's something I really want to work on, is doing something for me that makes me feel good about myself, that will just kind of calm me down before bed. Also do some stretching and maybe some reading. Again, I know there's so many things with having a baby that you can't control, and so what I'm trying to control is what I can, and that is my self-care. And a goal that I have for after she's born is to keep up with my skincare routine and make sure I'm taking a shower, washing my hair if I need to. I'm very, very excited to be a mom. I'm gonna do my best to enjoy my last month or more or less of just having it be me and him. I know all of our lives are gonna change, and it's just a pretty wild feeling. Like, that this huge life change is just right around the corner. I'm so thrilled and so joyful and so happy. I also want to admit that I find that with social media sometimes, especially with the election that just happened, which I don't want to fucking talk about that. I don't talk politics at all. That's just a personal preference. But I just have felt so stimulated, and I find myself going down the rabbit hole of looking at other people on social media and seeing what they're doing and what their bodies look like, or what their careers are, or how their lives go, and kind of comparing myself and feeling like I'm not where I should be. But it's funny because when I had the career and made the money and was really successful, all I really wanted was what I have now, which is to be pregnant and to be having a baby. So it's just about getting my mindset right and being grateful for this moment in time. We're all on our own journeys trying to figure out our lives and our purpose, and I know that a huge purpose of mine is to be a mom, and I just can't wait. Without further ado, I'll get into the main topic of this video, which is losing friends and the shame and guilt in the aftermath of having a manic episode. So I had someone reach out to me and ask me to make a video about this, and so I thought, sure, why not? It's not like a fun topic because it's just not, but I'll just kind of, share my story with it and kind of my journey with what I've been through, and hopefully it can kind of help someone get through a hard time. So obviously, for those that don't know, I have bipolar disorder, and back in 2016, I had a suicidal depression, which led to a hospital stay, which then led into me being misdiagnosed with depression, getting put on the wrong medication, finally getting diagnosed with bipolar disorder after a horrific manic episode. And like the best way I can describe a manic episode to someone that doesn't understand what it is like, imagine making the most embarrassing mistakes or just anything you can think of that would be like, you would be so humiliated by, so embarrassed by. A manic episode is like doing the things that would make anyone so embarrassed and humiliated, but A, not caring in the moment that you're doing it, and B, not having any control that you're doing it in the moment, and C, like having to deal with that embarrassment, guilt, and shame, and having to do it probably with people talking behind your back, talking shit about you, saying you're crazy, saying, your husband will be better off without you. So a little overview of my history is I used to have my own hair salon. I was successful. I would say that I had a lot of friends. I had a busy social life, going to weddings, baby showers, bachelorette parties, all that kind of stuff. And this is back during the time, like when I got sick with having bipolar disorder, like my life was seemingly going so well and amazing. And it started with the depression, and I didn't understand like why I was depressed when I had such a good life. But basically, after this severe depression, I got put on the wrong medication, and then I started to go manic, and I didn't know I was going manic when it all went down. I didn't understand. I thought that I was just like happy, and I just went through this super shitty time, and now life is good, and like, people were kind of hassling me about my behavior because it was so radical from, having the business, being successful, being so severely depressed, kind of falling off the radar, off the grid for a while with that depression. I didn't post anything on social media for 6 months. I didn't really talk to anybody. And then now all of a sudden I'm just like Snapchatting everything. I want to drink all the time. I want to like go out. I want to, I have no filter. If someone's bugging me or I have an opinion about someone, I literally don't have a filter. I'll just say whatever. So, it led to me getting into arguments with people, or people being offended by me, which caused stress, which like the stress, if you're educated on bipolar, stress just makes mania worse and worse and worse. And so it was just pretty much a disaster, like having a mental illness, and I'm not correctly diagnosed. No one in my life is prepared or understands what bipolar disorder is. And so people are kind of like using my mental illness against me in the sense of like, instead of being compassionate and kind of rising above and like looking at it as like I'm sick and like I'm not well and not taking my behavior personally, people took everything I said and did personally. And it just like, I have a lot of anger from my childhood. Stuff went on in my childhood. There was a lot of like yelling and name calling and, verbal abuse in my family growing up. And I have felt misunderstood for many years. It's taken me like healing and going through all the hard times and choosing to like really look at myself and understand myself and why I am the way I am to heal. But like at the time when I was having my manic episode, I didn't understand myself. I didn't understand why I was so angry, but I was. And like I said, when I was manic, people, like I would be in social situations, I would see people that know me as a hair salon owner, know me as, you know, Megan, she's married, whatever. I've always been like the party girl and people were used to that, but I was never like rude, and I became rude. I mean, let me take that back. In the past, when I would drink too much, maybe I would be rude, but when I was manic, I was just very insensitive and would just blurt things out. But to be honest, when I was manic, the truth came out. Like I said rude things that offended people, but mostly everything I said that I can remember was honestly probably truly how I felt and had been feeling for quite some time, but people didn't want to hear that and my delivery wasn't appropriate. But when you're manic, you just don't care. You are on such a high mentally, you just feel untouchable. You don't feel like anything phases you. You're just like, there's no consequences. You could give a shit if someone doesn't like you. You literally don't care. I mean, the true me, not manic me, I do care what people think about me, and I do care if I hurt people's feelings. But during that time period, I was very angry, felt very misunderstood, felt very judged, which just, you know, made things worse and worse, made me continue to go into a darker place, continue to drink more, eventually got into drugs. And at the time, there was people in my life who I considered to be my best friends, friendships of, you know, 5-10 years. And even other friendships that were newer, but friendships that were very important to me. I've always connected with women quickly, and I've never not had friends in my life. I've always had a very easy time making friends. It was just a complete nightmare. When I went through the depression, people did reach out to me and to my husband and ask if I was like okay and like what was going on, but I was in such like a deep dark depression. Like I couldn't even respond to people. Like I didn't even want to say to someone I'm fine, like things. I didn't even have the strength to say thanks for checking on me or anything like that. I was so depressed. Sometimes I actually have flashbacks of like that depression and how like I couldn't get out of it. And it like makes me sick to my stomach because I literally wanted to die. Like all day, every day, I just wanted to die. And it's crazy even saying that out loud and admitting it because I'm in such a great place now. But like I will never forget how dark and low a depression can feel. And that's why I'm so compassionate if other people are going through hard times, because like I've been there. So if you're new here, I suggest watching my old manic episode videos so you can understand kind of what I've been through. It's just like so much and it's so overwhelming. For sure, I lost a lot of friends, a lot of people that at the time and prior, you know, people that were invited to my wedding, people that I went to their weddings or bachelorette parties or whatever. A lot of it was my hair clients. You know, something that I dealt with back then is I didn't really have boundaries when it came to my business. Like when I would take on a new hair client and then that hair client would refer me their friends and then that hair client would refer me their friends, I would kind of just become like friends with my clients. And, you know, now if I was to do it over again, I would have had stronger boundaries and not have become friends with people so quickly. And like, obviously everything I've been through with like losing a ton of friends, like I've just learned, I've learned a lot and I'm more guarded and I'm more, I'm just more cautious about who I let my guard down with. But, right after my first manic episode, I'm talking, I went to jail, I was doing drugs, and I didn't give a fuck. But then there was a point where everything came to a head where I realized, holy shit, I went to jail. I almost divorced my husband. All these people who I considered close friends, like, don't fuck with me anymore. They've deleted me. They've blocked me on social media. They've cut me off. They, you know, talk bad about me. You know, it was just like, I remember the mania crashed into another suicidal depression after that first major manic episode. And I wanted to die. And I knew, like, people were so done with me. Like, even if I was to reach out to these people and say sorry and say, you know, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, like, this is what's happening. Like, people were so done with me and so, like, turned off by me and wanted nothing to do with me that it was very lonely. And just going through the suicidal depression and, like, isolating myself and then going manic and acting embarrassing. And when I say embarrassing things I did, probably the most embarrassing things that I did was post embarrassing things on social media. You know, I get really emotional when I see Kanye West posting things and people making fun of him because it reminds me a lot of me. And like, at the time, I would post just, like, hateful comments. Like, I would just post, like, you know, you're a piece of shit if you do this, if you do that. And I would, like, make it my status on Facebook so people could, like, read what I was writing. You know, like, I would be hanging out on the streets with homeless people and making posts, like, at that time. And, like, you know, a lot of it, like, I don't remember, but I know that I was writing embarrassing stuff. I didn't even really want to, like, think about, like, if I really sat here and, like, meditated and thought about everything I wrote back then, I'd probably cry, and I just don't want to go to, like, that dark place. But, like, just, like, to be as honest as I can, I wrote really embarrassing things. Like, if you're watching this, imagine the most embarrassing thing you can think of about yourself, the most shameful secret, and, like, posting it on social media for, like, everyone you know to see. That's basically, like, what I went through. And then people being so disgusted and so turned off by you that they just, like, cut you off and don't fuck with you and don't want to talk to you or whatever, no matter how much history you have, you know. Like, I think the most devastating thing for me, which I kept saying over and over again, is that, like, I feel like a disposable piece of trash. Like, I've always felt like, for lack of a better word, like, popular. Like, I felt like people like me, people think I'm funny, people genuinely like my company. But to go from, like, feeling like that, like, the majority of my life, to feeling like a piece of garbage in the trash bin was, like, beyond painful. On top of the fact that, like, I've just been diagnosed with a severe mental illness. Like, even under the best of circumstances, like, getting diagnosed with a mental illness and being told, like, you have bipolar disorder, like, I felt like my life was over. I felt like it was a death sentence. Like, I have bipolar disorder, like, who's gonna want me now? Like, you know, at the time, my marriage was up in the air. It was super iffy. I didn't know if he was gonna bounce on me. You know, if he bounced on me, like, who the fuck is ever gonna love me and want to be with a bipolar bitch? Like, what the fuck? There's such a stigma against having a mental illness, and, like, I've lived that stigma. I've lived the stigma of people just like, ugh, she has bipolar disorder, like, gross, you know? And it really stripped me of every ounce of confidence and pride I had in myself. It's like, we all have somewhat, we might all have our insecurities, but, like, most people have a sense of pride and a sense of confidence in themselves for different reasons. And, like, literally after my manic episode, after I lost all the friends, after I'm dealing with the shame, the guilt, the regret, the what the fuck do I do now? I'm dealing with all of that, and I'm broken. I'm absolutely broken. I feel worthless. I feel like, how am I ever gonna get my life back, you know? And, like, the thing is like, I never got my life back. I created a new and better life moving forward, you know? Like, you couldn't pay me to take back the life I had beforehand. Even though I was successful, drove a brand new car, made good money, could go buy whatever I wanted to buy, I wasn't happy and I didn't like being that accessible to people. And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned about myself since everything's happened, is that when I had my hair salon business, I was accessible to the public, and anyone could DM me and reach out to me and be like, hey, like, you know, will you do my hair, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, that's great and everything. And like, a lot of people would love that. Then you're, you know, successful and you're wanted. And, you know, and it did make me feel good about myself to feel desired. Like, all these people want me to do their hair. But at the same time, like, I have different sides of my personality. And it's like, one side of my personality is like very outgoing, like party Megan, loud, funny, whatever. But like, the other side of me is I'm actually like quiet and shy and reserved and just kind of like to like sit back. Like, I'm a Capricorn at heart. And I think I've always had that conflict in my personality, is that like I'm an introvert, but I'm an extrovert. And I just have found within myself, like, I'm very sensitive and very empathic, and I just like being accessible to less people. And that's kind of just like something I've learned through living. As far as like losing all the friends and the guilt and the shame, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It fucking hurt, and it fucking hurt for a long time. It hurt so bad that my drinking got so out of control. You know, like, I was in so much emotional turmoil and pain that I started turning to alcohol to numb my situation and numb everything I've been through. You know, like, I'd have memories and flashbacks of all the stuff I went through my manic episode. And then, you know, I knew there's multiple people out there that do not like me, that actively like cheer against me and wish that like I don't do good. They wish that I'm, you know, I know that there was people like that, and it was hurtful, but it's made me so strong. And like, it's the hardest thing to like sit in the sadness and like sit in the hurt. And that goes for anything. Like, if you go through a breakup, or if a loved one passes away or whatever, like, life hurts. Like, there's no easy way to get through hard times. You have to like face it head on and not use alcohol or whatever, sex, gambling, drugs, anything to numb yourself, because you're never gonna actually heal. The true healing process happens when you allow yourself to feel stuff that sucks, and that makes you stronger, and then you grow from it and you become a better version of yourself. And the truth of the matter is, even though everything I've been through has been so shitty, it's made me a better me, a better version of myself. I like myself more. I think I'm a better person than what I used to be. I don't think I was ever a bad person, but I was kind of a bitch, you know? Like, I would talk shit about people, make fun of people, you know, just be kind of a dick, honestly, sometimes. And I'm not that way anymore, you know? Like, I really like the person that I am today, and I'm proud that I went through all of that so that I can be the best mom. Because even though my journey has been so shitty, and like, I'm almost 34 years old, and I'm having my first baby, and I thought I'd have my first baby at like 28 or 29, and so I've had to wait so much longer. But I can see that it was like God's plan to break me down so that I could rebuild myself into something better. I feel like my life has come full circle. And at the time, I remember crying to my mom when I lost all the friends and lost my life, and just felt so guilty and shameful of like, why is this happening to me? Like, why do I have to suffer like this? And I just truly didn't understand. But today, sitting here at 36 weeks pregnant, and like knowing that my life is about to change in the most beautiful way, having a child, and the version of myself that I am today, I'm just like, I am proud of myself, and I know that I'm gonna be an amazing mom. I guess if you're going through something where you're having a manic episode, and then you're recovering from the manic episode, and there's people in your life that don't support you, they don't want to stand by you, they don't want to be a part of your support system, let them go. You know, I know it hurts, I know it sucks, trust me, I get it, but I don't know, I learned something a long time ago about like, don't hold people, places, and things like this. Keep your hands open and just like, if something is meant to stay, it'll stay. You won't have to hang on to anything that's meant for you. If you open your arms or your hands and like something stays with you and you're like this, you know it's meant to be. We're not meant to fight and claw for things that are meant for us. And so I do want to say I'm grateful for the friends and family, especially my husband, that stood by me through everything and didn't give up on me. I mean, my husband had to have been so embarrassed and humiliated by my behavior and the things that I said and did during that time. And he stood by me, and that love that he showed me, that unconditional love of standing by someone when they give you every reason to not stand by them, that made my marriage so much stronger. And my friends that stood by me through everything, it made my friendship with them so much stronger. And I invest so much more energy into the people that have been there this whole time because they deserve it. They're gonna be the people, if I ever get sick again and have to go to the mental hospital, that are gonna visit me, that are gonna check on me, that are gonna, you know, root for me. I hope this video helps anyone out there that's struggling with losing their old life as a result of having a mental illness and going through a manic episode. I'm here to say you'll get through it. It's gonna be tough. You're gonna have days where you don't think you're gonna make it, but you will. And eventually you're gonna look back and you'll understand that things happen for a reason, and whatever's meant to be will be. And at the end of the day, the best thing that will come from surviving a manic episode is eventually having the knowledge of how strong of a person you are. I never knew I was as strong as I am until I went through everything that you know, tried to kill me, tried to break me down. But you know, I'm like a phoenix. I rise from the ashes, and I know that every human is capable of that. I honestly kind of like it when people don't believe in me or don't cheer for me, because it makes me want to work that much harder to be the best version of myself. So thank you for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.